This video was solely made for the purpose of entertaining your curiosity, and it was not my intention to change or even challenge anyone's views. The system doesn't make sense because it values people based on their ability to monetize their skills and talents. That means that the more money you can make, the more valuable you are to the system, which would make sense in a world where money has intrinsic value. But we do not currently live in such a world, so the only reason money has any value at the moment is because we are told it does. From a very young age, we are led to believe that money can be exchanged for whatever we want. Over and over again, we're told that whatever we want can only mean three things: health, beauty, and physical possessions. What we aren't told is that money cannot be exchanged for time. It doesn't matter whether you're rich or poor, when your time is up, you will leave this world. Now, the only way to earn money is by doing some form of work, which implies trading your time. It's implausible that one can live their entire life without working at all. Whether you want to or not, you will have to work. But what does the system not making sense have to do with that? Well, you don't really need as much money as you think you do. You only believe you do because the system tells you that you do. And the system tells you that you need money because money can be taxed. If everybody started bartering goods again, people who contribute little to societies, politicians are the only example that comes to mind, would be forced to actually work for a living, and they just can't have that, can they? Back to the topic at hand. The only reason you feel like you always need more money than what you're making is because the system has slowly turned your desires into needs. And what I mean by this is, a while back having your house connected to the power grid was considered a luxury. Nowadays it's considered a necessity. Not that long ago, having access to running water in every building you'd set foot into was considered a luxury. Nowadays it's considered a necessity. Up until very recently, having a stable internet connection at home was considered a luxury. Nowadays it's considered a necessity. And the list just goes on. The system was designed to solve problems that didn't exist by appealing to people's pride and desire for comfort. In doing so, it created actual problems that genuinely needed solving. Problems for which only the system could provide solutions. In exchange for money, of course. Here's a little story to showcase how this works. When I was a child, we didn't have a functioning bathroom inside the house. So, if I needed to go, I would have to use an ecological toilet we had in the backyard. If I only needed a wee, I could either use said toilet or I could use a bucket which was closer to the house. And if I wanted to wash myself, I would have to draw water from a nearby well. The wastewater and the urine were later mixed and used to water plants and trees. And with a bit of effort, the waste from the toilet was composted and used as fertilizer. All this required no money but a great deal of discomfort. Then the system started spreading the idea that people who live this way are uncivilized, that only those with fully fitted bathrooms are respectable members of the society. After all, why would you want to deal with the heat, the cold, the smell, the bugs, and the labor, when you can avoid all that in exchange for a fee? So we had a bathroom installed, and suddenly we were paying money so someone else can deal with our sewage. So they could then turn it into fertilizer and then give it back to us. For money, of course. The system can't really tax someone's waste, but it can tax transactions. All it had to do was find a way to make people exchange their sewage for money, which isn't particularly difficult. But as a matter of fact, it did us one better. It not only convinced us to give our waste away for free, but also to pay for it to be collected, transformed into fertilizer, and then sold back to us, either directly or through the food market. You can apply this thought process to pretty much anything else in your life you genuinely believe you need. So, to draw a conclusion from all this, I think that it doesn't make sense to exchange my time for money, only to exchange that money for things I do not truly need, simply so that I'm not frowned upon by the society, which is exactly what I believe the system was designed for. And that's why the system doesn't make sense to me.